The building that you can see behind me here is Mary Stopes Birmingham Abortion Centre. This was the first building in the UK to open exclusively for abortions. Before that, abortions would have been performed more in just hospital settings. So this building here opened in 1969 and for the next 50 years has been churning out tens of thousands of abortions. At its peak, it was the busiest abortion centre in the UK, and even the most recent statistics show it's still in the top 5 busiest abortion centres. But no more. I have just found out the most fantastic news that this building here has finally closed its doors on abortion for good, forever. Now, this is of particular importance to me because I've been praying here for probably around 18 years. For the last 7 to 8 years, we've been running a 40 Days for Life here twice a year. During that time, volunteers will come 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, for 40 consecutive days and pray and offer alternatives to those considering abortion. We know well over 100 women who've chosen life because of the prayers and support that have been offered for them. But even before 40 Days for Life, we know that for over 30 years, people have been coming to pray here that it would one day close.
When the 40 Days for Life was, when it was first introduced to us, we thought it was impossible, really.
I went to the kick-off event for 40 Days for Life last year, and the thing that they said that convinced me that I needed to go was, I can't remember the exact statistics, they said that non-attendance rate to abortion clinics soar if there's just one person outside praying. And that convinced me that I needed to go. Even if I didn't speak to a single person, I needed to show up.
I've spent a number of hours there and seen the number of sad cases where people are coming in. What's particularly sad for me is to watch fathers bring their daughters in and to see, that relationship being damaged for years to come because they felt like that was a solution to their problem.
About 20 years ago, I'd gone into the abortion centre full of fear, thinking there was no way I could possibly be a mum, and there was nobody outside to stop me. I can't go back in time, I can't change my story, but what I can do is give others hope. I can give others the voice that they might need to hear, the voice of you can do it, you're not alone. It's not just a case of praying outside, it's also a case of, like St James says, to be there in prayer, but also in witness and helping people. So 40 Days supports both the mother and the father. Maybe it's financial support, emotional support, and also to help the women that have walked out after having an abortion.
It was only after a long period of time when you get in contact with somebody and you have this experience where they decide to keep the baby, that changes your approach to being more convicted. So you're not put off by discouraging thoughts about, people rejecting you, going into the clinic, passers-by saying something negative. Once you know that people do change their mind and choose life, even if it's just occasionally, then that makes it worth it.
I was wary of not wanting to appear intimidating, so I decided to kneel. How can you possibly be intimidated by a 21-year-old kneeling? So I knelt down and the staff left, and I offered them leaflets and they said no thank you, but I still felt that somehow it was positive interaction because they just looked quite surprised to find someone looking quite vulnerable, I suppose.
Absolutely fantastic news that Mary Stopes has closed. There's been so much prayer and support that has taken place outside this clinic for the last 50 years. And I think since being involved in the pro-life movement over the last 8 years, I have seen so much momentum building, especially in the younger generation, who are looking to find new creative ways to change the culture in our country.
This is what happens when a community comes together, not just to say no to abortion, but actually commits to doing something about it. For decades, faithful pro-lifers have been coming here praying that this place would one day close down, and today their prayers have finally been answered.